that now. So today's session is all about the power of partnerships. And the Sustainable Development Goal number 17 refers to the need for cross-sector, cross-country collaboration in order to deliver the SDGs by 2030. At So They Can, we've witnessed firsthand how our ability to partner with governments, communities, foundations, and social enterprises and for-purpose organizations, just like a couple of the ones that are joining us on our call today, have really helped us accelerate our progress towards our mission of eradicating the poverty cycle through quality education. So today we're going to share a little bit about two exciting partnerships that we formed with two amazing organizations. And it's my great honor to introduce you to our country director, Terri. Please give us a wave, Terri. Simon Doble, the CEO of Solar Buddy, also give us a wave. And Tae Young Kim, who's the Partnerships and Impact Strategy Manager at Enuma, who are the creators of Kitkit School. So I'm going to start off by asking each of you to introduce yourselves and the organization that you're working for. So Terri, do you want to kick us off?
Sure, thanks Poppy. Thanks for this opportunity to share my thoughts and So They Can's thoughts on collaboration, because it's really a concept that's the center of my work and life values. So I really appreciate the opportunity. So those of you who are new to So They Can, we're a not-for-profit organisation committed to empowering children living in poverty through education. And we do that because we simply believe that every child matters. So our mission is to partner with local communities and importantly governments to provide quality education to children living in poverty in Kenya and Tanzania. And we achieve this through a holistic approach, which includes improved learning conditions, teacher training and development, child wellbeing, women's empowerment, community engagement, and health. So to do all of that, we really, at the center of everything, believe in the power of partnerships and collaboration, because we know our work isn't sustainable or scalable without the commitment of the government and the communities we work with our amazing donors and foundations who fund what we do, and our partners who also amplify the impact that we can make. So we focus on engagement and empowerment of the whole community, so the community can then take ownership of these government and community schools, and importantly, their own future. So we do it through a three-phased approach where we get to know the school, build due diligence, build capacity and trust and resources, give them all the tools to succeed. So we call that our foundation core, and then our ultimately sustained schools. And then finally, we partner with some secondary schools as well, so the children in our primary schools have that opportunity for continued success. So currently we're partnering with 42 government schools across Kenya and Tanzania, as well as our Mameri Teachers Training College in Tanzania. So yeah, I think that's kind of us. Partnerships, whether it's with national, as I said, national, local, government, you know, is core to what we do.
Great, thanks Terri. Simon, over to you. Do you want to introduce Solar Buddy?
Sure, thanks very much. Well done, Terri. Hi everyone, lovely to meet you all. I'm Simon Doble, I'm the founder and CEO of Solar Buddy. We're also an Australian charity. We do refer to ourselves as a social impact organisation, trying to move away from the charity sort of wording, I guess, or not for profit. Our aim is to raise awareness and create solutions and donate solutions around energy poverty for children that live in energy poverty. We do that through the gift of light by connecting communities that don't live in energy poverty with communities that do. We started with an education program to raise awareness about the issue of energy poverty, discuss the Sustainable Development Goals and lots of other global citizenship pieces with school children in Australia. We've now scaled that to school children all across the world. And the idea is they learn and they have a hands-on experience to assemble a little solar light, which we then donate to our partners, our amazing field partners who do amazing work in hopefully end energy poverty for children across the world. I started it, we're 5 years old next month, so we're still fairly new, but I started it purely out of a frustration of my work with the UN and working in energy poverty, and the lack of awareness about what energy poverty was, and the need to bring that into the sort of narrative of people that didn't live in energy poverty. And that's the idea of what we do. Partnerships are hugely important to us. We cannot do the work that we do with partnerships at both ends of the spectrum, both our donors and our corporate partners and our school partners, but also our very important field partners that do the amazing work that they do, that doesn't need us to replicate or build teams in country, which enables us to scale our programs and create more donations for the amazing people that do the amazing work in country. So it's good to be here. Thanks very much. Looking forward to chatting more.
Thanks, Simon. And Tae, would you like to introduce yourself and Enuma?
Hello, everyone. Great to meet you all. My name is Tae from Enuma. I'm the Impact Strategy and Partnerships Manager at Enuma as part of the core impact team here. A little bit about Enuma. So we're an edtech company based in Berkeley, California, and our office is in Seoul in China. We develop mobile learning solutions for early learners that can empower children to be independent self-learners. We specialize in using gamified curriculum to empower all children that live in very different contexts and are in different environments, including the more countries with more developed economies like the US and certain countries in Asia, but also in more developing communities with low resources and low accessibility to quality learning resources. We work in, we have a variety of products that serves the developing countries. One of the products we have is Kitkit School, which was the co-winning solution of the Global Learning X Prize in 2019. And through that, we got to partner with So They Can and Solar Buddy on our projects in Tanzania. So thanks for the opportunity to be here today, and great to meet you guys all.
Thanks, Tae. So Terri, there are quite a few people on the call here who might not have heard much about how we do partner with Solar Buddy and Enuma or Kitkit School. So do you want to set a little bit of context for those who might not know much about it?
Sure. So, I mean, I guess first up, it's important that we have a shared vision, so that we're there for the same purpose. And you know, our vision is to change the future of children living in poverty through education. I know Enuma's vision is to empower children everywhere to grow and learn independently. And you know, Solar Buddy is about giving lights to children living with energy poverty to help them study after dusk. So, you know, obviously that's going to improve their education outcomes, which we have very much seen in Kenya and Tanzania. So we all have that shared vision, but there's a lot of organizations with that vision. And I think probably even more important than the shared vision is to be different. So to have different yet complementary skills and goals, so we can respect each other's areas of expertise, have complementary skills that we can bring, so together we can magnify that impact. So Simon spoke about not, you know, working with field partners rather than developing their own delivery systems. So then Solar Buddy can concentrate on what they do so brilliantly in getting those lights, and then we can put the lights to use. So to me, it really makes no sense not to partner. I guess it's just a matter of finding those right partners with the common objective, but with complementary skills.
Awesome, thank you. And Simon, I know that partnerships is a topic that you're super passionate about. Why do you think it's important to partner?
Firstly, well said, Terry. I couldn't agree more. For me, when I started ideating the idea of starting a charity and doing the work of Solar Buddy, I literally sat down and analysed the whole landscape of how humanitarian work and development work is conducted. And coming from the UN sort of background where it's very top heavy and very closed ranks and partnerships aren't necessarily a model that they utilize very well. I didn't want to build an organization that was replicating other people's work or doubling up in spreading our resources too thin and then not creating the impact that we could do if we partnered. So for me, from the very foundations of Solar Buddy, it was built around creating partnerships. And when there's amazing organizations like So They Can and everybody else that's on the ground doing amazing work around the world, there's no need for organizations like us to come along and then start again. So partnerships for us is the most important element of our work, in all honesty. There's absolutely no way we could have scaled to be where we are now in 5 short years without amazing partners to enable us to focus on what we are good at. And we are good at those things. We're good at innovating, we're good at modeling, we're good at building corporate relationships and all those sorts of things. And you guys are amazing at the work that you do in country, as well as building corporate relationships and everything you do in Australia and New Zealand. So partnerships for us, like Terry said, is a no-brainer. It's just common sense as far as I'm concerned. And the more people that embrace that, the more organizations that embrace that, the more work that we can all do collectively to end energy poverty in all its forms and poverty in all its forms and improve education across the world. So
that's great, thank you. And speaking of innovation, Tae, you mentioned already that you were Enuma were the winners of the Global X Learning Prize, which is incredible. And we were hearing a little bit about it before everyone else joined us on the call. Can you share a little bit more about that prize and how you guys approach innovation?
Yeah, sure. So we were part of the Global Learning X Prize from 2015 to 2019. It was a global competition that calls for a scalable learning software that can teach children living in under-resourced environments basic literacy and numeracy without needing the support of adult. So during the 4-year competition and the 15-month field test that was part of the competition, we were one of the two co-winners by demonstrating the highest learning gains and highest engagement for children who use the solution. The competition was very unique in the sense that it draw attention to the software part of interventions for IT interventions for literacy. In a lot of IT interventions that we have experienced in the past, focused a lot on hardware and kind of had lacked the attention for software that could be actually impactful and useful for the learnings of the children. So the competition called for about 300 participating companies around the globe, and the field test was conducted by UNESCO, WFP, and the Ministry of Education in Tanzania. Sorry, I'm losing my train of thought here. Basically installing the softwares on tablet devices and allowing children living in remote environments to use that without adult interventions and support. So it was, the competition sort of proved two things. One is that softwares software can teach children the basic literacy in math. And the second is there are such thing as better, more effective software that will result in better learning outcome. So in traditional sort of education system, there were a lot of the materials, the textbook materials, the learning resources themselves are the same. But it was dependent on the ability of the teachers to deliver effective learning results. And similarly, for self-learning softwares, there are different ways to design and design the curriculum and make it more effective for delivering better learning outcomes for children. So our way of innovation is to focus on that learning experience, the digital learning experience of the children. A lot of our team members come from the game industry, interestingly, and because the game industry focuses a lot on user engagement and providing an enjoyable experience for learners, for users, we apply that same concept to our learning software, making it very intuitive and enjoyable for learners with even very low exposure to previous digital devices and experiences.
That's awesome. And Terri, I know that we've been now using Kitkit in our schools over in East Africa for a little while now. Can you tell us a little bit more about how it's being received? And also, I understand that we can share a little bit more about the evolution and how this is becoming a sort of three-way partnership as well.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Poppy. Well, we're still in the pilot stage, so we're introducing Kitkit currently in 2 schools in Tanzania, and we've got plans to also pilot in 1 school in Kenya. One of the fabulous things for So They Can about Kitkit is it's currently in 2 languages, which happen to be English and Kiswahili. So the 2 languages that our students learn in. So in Kenya, the mode of delivery of education is in English, even though the Kiswahili is also a national language, and in Tanzania, in primary school, it's Kiswahili. So it's a great opportunity for us to field test the 2 different two different platform or languages. So we are setting up the pilot, but I have to, I guess, go back a step. In one of the massive advantages for us is, as Tae explained, there was 14 months of field testing done in Tanzania. And there's all of that empirical evidence in schools just like our schools of the success of this software. So we can also rely on that. But of course, it's important for us to engage our community and let the community become comfortable with it as well. So again, speaking to the power of partnership, so rather than us just, going online, and Kitkit and Enuma are very generously offering their software free to people in the developing world during COVID, rather than just downloading the free software and being done with it, by us engaging with Enuma and working with Tae, they've really improved the way that we will run this project, because they generously have hosted our team to go to Dar es Salaam and to spend 4 days with an organisation that was part of the pilot. And so that really made us rethink what we were doing. We learned so much from seeing it in action in another school. So we're still going through that redevelopment of the pilot, but we've certainly taken those tablets to the schools. And yeah, talk about jealous. I mean, I just want to be there when I see the photos of the kids seeing a tablet for the first time, let alone seeing this really engaging software on it, and it's, huddles around these tablets, and I can see just from the images that gaming side of it come out, because it's intuitive. The kids are working out how to do it, the interaction between them, between themselves. So we're running a new project this year called Camp Africa, where we have the opportunity to take kids out literally camping in the national park, and they're doing all these different cultural experiences. And so we took the tablets to Camp Africa and gave the kids the opportunity just to learn on them in their own, in their own time, in their own environment, in that self-paced way that Tae said it should be used. And Delphina, our education manager, has since reported back to me that when she's been going back to school, she hears the children talking about the learning, like, because it's got numeracy on there as well, maths done in a certain way that they saw on Kitkit. So, those of us who parents, niece, aunties, uncles, that kids see something and they remember it, and then they rethink and they reuse it. So yeah, really excited. In about a month, we'll start the actual delivery within our schools. But yeah, really excited. And the way that we have been able to work with Solar Buddy on this is the schools that we work with primarily do not have access to electricity. So that, of course, brings a challenge straight away, because if there's tablets, they have to be charged. So I approached Simon and I said, we wanted to move into this digital learning space. We've got no power, we've got these tablets. And immediately Simon was like, tell me what tablet you're going to use, show me what type of charging cord you need, how many tablets, all of the questions, which, not being my area of expertise, I wouldn't have a clue to ask those questions to even think of the delivery. So I just simply had to provide the answers. And then, miracles happen, and I got a photo sent of a charging panel that had been developed for us. So that really opens up probably 70% more schools of our 42 schools that we can work in by having being able to charge using solar.
It's so exciting and really incredible to see how all of the three of the organizations working together can make something happen, and so quickly. So some of those photos that Terri mentioned are actually on our social media, so feel free to sort of check them out. There are also some beautiful photos of the kids receiving their Solar Buddy lights, which just every time I see them just fills my heart with joy. So highly recommend having a look at those. But going back to that innovation, Simon, you were mentioning before, it's taken such a short period of time to be able to develop out these tools. What is it about the way that you're working, or the way that this partnership is working that has allowed you to move so quickly?
So ultimately, as Terri mentioned, when I received the email, I instantly see an opportunity, excitement, innovation, the ability to solve a problem, which is what we're pretty good at. And we have a whole R&D team here at Solar Buddy that focuses on developing and designing solutions for communities around the world. So when Terri came to us with a very specific requirement, that was a breath of fresh air to us, because normally we have eyes and ears and experiences on the ground from our partners that tell us about the impact of our lights and how good they are, but we're still hungry for problems to solve. So when that came across my desk, we quickly looked at it and assessed the energy needs, and obviously, there's cost associated to it. So we worked out how we can OEM, which is an efficient way of manufacturing a solution really quickly, make it very cost effective and affordable for everybody, and try and get it into the schools as quickly as possible. So I think about 2 months from the first email to having a working prototype that is now getting pre-productive manufacture in China is pretty good. It's a pretty good result. So hopefully it will work. It does work. We've tested it. It would charge 20 tablets over an evening, every evening in each school. So I look forward to delivering them really soon. But the point of that is where we can innovate and where we can put our solutions into our Solar Buddy model, which is learn, make, and donate, which is our secret sauce, I guess, where everyone learns about a problem and then they help us make the solution, and then we donate them to people, you guys. We need more problems to solve. So the amazing strength and value that So They Can offer us is feedback from the field. Is we're moving into water filtration devices. We're moving into lots of different sort of requirements across the SDGs. So the more we get back from you guys about problems in the need, and then we can get excited and do our designing and development and innovation and give them back to you and hopefully save lives. So.
That's awesome. And I'm super passionate about human-centered design, and I love that approach of really focusing on who you're solving the problem for and going to the source of that information through our teams on the ground, and then being able to adapt your products over time, which is awesome. So I have a question from one of our sponsors who's really passionate about everything that we do, helping youth, but also Mother Earth to make this world a more sustainable and promising future. I'm reading this word for word because it's beautifully written. So this sponsor actually runs an events company and would love to know how she can help through their networks, but also maybe for the rest of the group listening, how can people help our three organizations in the delivery of our mission? Is it by spreading the word, raising funds, all of the above? What are some small actionable outcomes that we can give for some of our the people on the call here today? Who wants to jump in first?
Well, as they run an events program, I might jump in if that's all right. If they run an events management company, we do a lot of events. Pre-COVID, we prided ourselves on engaging with corporates that run event environments, where we would attend and talk about our work and our partners' work. And very, very often, almost always, we would talk about our partners as a very specific component of what we do. So They Can and other field partners would get a big shout out to a conference. And then each participant within that conference, that attendee, has the opportunity to assemble one of our little Solar Buddy lights. And then we would donate them directly to So They Can. And everyone learns and makes and obviously donates. So from an event point of view, that was very, very successful for us prior to COVID. And hopefully later this year, early next year, we can get back to it and start engaging with a lot more people. But holistically, as a charity, we're always looking to engage with everybody and anybody. Donations are obviously wonderful, but ultimately spreading the word about partnerships, about the importance of all our work, and the ability of how we can come together and have huge impact is as valuable to me as donations. So everything in between.
Very well put, Simon. Tae, do you have anything to add?
No, I think Simon had mentioned the more important things already. I think as Enuma specifically, we are a mission-driven but for-profit software company. So for our way of working for children in the developing world is heavily dependent on partnership. And it's almost, we can't do everything without partnership. So it's the core of our scale strategy. Everything from field implementation to research to localization work of our solution to better contextualize for each language and different countries is all dependent very much on that kind of partnership. So I think ultimately for us, finding that mission aligned partners is the most important thing. So I know people here are all very well connected and very engaged in that kind of activities. And so spreading the word for us that this kind of resources and technical tech solution partners are available for partnerships. I think that's the most important aspect for us. We do have our Kitkit School software currently being distributed for free online. So interested parties can take a look at it and try that out and see if they can also adapt in their field.
Great, thank you. And Terri, anything to add?
Well, I guess from Tae Young's point of view, assuming that the pilots go well, which there's, given all of that field testing that's already been done and the initial response, there's no reason for it not to. The only thing that's going to be holding us back is tablets, getting the number of tablets into all of those schools. So if anyone who's running an event or has the ability to, to fundraise for tablets, then we'll be good to go. We've got the software, we've got the power, we've got the capacity with our staff. We just need the hardware.
May I ask a question?
Yes, go for it.
It's actually my question. Hi, everyone. I'm Emma. I'm based here in Singapore. Do you need, I'd love to help. So, Simon, I guess to your point, even with COVID, everyone's moved on the event side to obviously virtual events, but is this something that your whole assembly and the Solar Buddy thing that we could still activate virtually? So if, for example, we had a sponsor, Shell or someone that wanted to sponsor this, we could ship it out to the 50 people that they want to sponsor it, the Solar Buddies to, and we could do a session where they would put it together and then send it on. It might all be counter message, I guess, because shipping stuff all over the place leaves big fat footprint, but just an idea.
Yeah. Absolutely, we can definitely do that. We've been doing that all for the last 12 or so virtually. We do have a partner in Singapore. We work with WWF.
Right.
So any facilitation in Singapore will be conducted by our partners there.
Okay, nice.
More than happy to go to Shell and present, and that's the ripple effect of partnerships and how we've been able to scale globally. So. But after this, if you send me your details, I'll put you on to Max, who runs our events. And
okay, super. That sounds great. We'd love to help, because from our side, you've always got people that are trying to do things that want to, we work in the music, sport and entertainment industries. So, whether you're sending a cocktail mixers and all of that, new ideas are always good. And this is a nice one. So I'd love to spread the word. And then Terri, I guess on the tablet side, just through networks, collecting technology here, at least people are just upgrading the whole time. They just spend. Do you have some guidelines around what you want? Is it just new tablets or?
Yeah, sure. So in Kitkit has provided us with the specification list of what's required for the tablet. So I can get those specifications and share them with everyone.
Okay, great.
That would be amazing.
Okay, super. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. That's super generous of you, Emma. And I'll make sure that we connect you with Simon and the rest of the team afterwards. And anyone else who'd like to have some introductions, please don't hesitate to reach out. So I've got another question here from one of our attendees. Maybe people are feeling shy, so it's nice that people are still sending them directly to me. What future innovations are you all looking to develop over the coming years? Who wants to go first?
Well, I can say one of the things that's the forefront of my mind in terms of programs is water. So that in the environments we work, that requires innovation. So of course there's boreholes, but then there's long-term problems with boreholes. There's rainwater harvesting, but then we're in areas that are very arid for a long time. So that's just any innovative way we can get water to our communities is that's on my thinking list of how we do that, because we've got this model, as I mentioned in the beginning, of foundations schools, core schools and sustained schools, and our goal is to move all of our schools to a sustained model, so then we can go and work with more foundation schools. And we've got a very clear framework on what a sustained school needs, and one of those things is it needs water security and a water solution, because then it will enable sanitization in the schools, and it will enable feeding programs in the schools. So that's on my thinking list if anyone's putting it out there to the world.
Let's talk to her. Let's talk.
I feel like something's happening already. This is why I love these calls, because we always come away with a million one ideas, and you will see an email coming out afterwards with you know, we really look at our community as our brains trust. So if you come up with any ideas for us along the way, please do share them as well. We'd love to hear from you. Simon, what about you? Future innovations, you've kind of touched on a few already.
Yeah, I probably could talk for about 3 days on some of the stuff we're working on, but ultimately we have a new solution coming out very, very soon called Student Buddy, which will go to teenage children, primarily girls, which will give them better security at night with a high performing torch as well as house lighting, but it will also charge mobile phones to try and keep more girls in school longer, so they're not going to villages and charging their phones, which is a huge problem in Sub-Sahara. We're working on a product called Family Buddy, which is a whole suite of renewable energy solutions for a whole family, life providing solutions. So lighting, device charging, cook stoves, and refrigeration as well. So that's hopefully coming online next year. And then amongst a few other things, we're working on building into the Solar Buddy model of learn, make, and donate wheelchairs and other medical devices that help kids get around their villages in certain war zones and old war zones like Cambodia and stuff, where there's still lots of landmines. In India as well, where there's lots of issues. So everything and anything really, but ultimately aligned with the SDGs. We have an amazing program for school children and corporates alike called Solve the 17, which is literally an innovation challenge where we propose to people real life scenarios of how certain people live around the world aligned to the SDGs. So innovation, sort of circumstantial situations, and then we put corporates into that mindset, and they go away as a team and they innovate new innovations and new ideas to solve these problems. That's one of our pipelines. That's one of our funnels to understand and create new solutions as well. So as much as we're an energy poverty charity, we're an education charity, we're also very much an innovation charity, and it's at our core and how we think about things. So there's a lot.
Fantastic. So much going on. And actually, one of the questions I also had from one of our audiences asking if our partners, any of us, would be willing to speak and engage with students in the developed world to expand their knowledge on better understanding how they can make an impact in the world. And I think you've just answered that, Simon. And I know So They Can also often we do go and speak to students at schools and talk about what we do, and especially the schools that we partner with and who generously sponsor us in different ways. We do go out and talk to those students as well. And we had quite a few students participating in our One Human Race Challenge this year. We're really hoping to get more schools involved next year and kind of have a big education component as part of that. So pop that in your diaries for next March. Tae, what about you guys? Is there anything you can share? I'm sure there's so much going on in your world as well.
Yeah, I think for us, we are heavily focused on making our product more accessible, especially after the pandemic and all the global learning disruptions. We are moving quite quickly to, our vision is to make our solution accessible to 2/3 of the world by 2025, which is a pretty ambitious timeline for everybody. So we are actually expanding to different language versions and also making it mobile compatible and more robust for supporting continuous learning in areas that experience learning disruptions. Right now, we've just completed a field test in Indonesia, and we'll be launching a large scale pilot in that country. Our plan is to release a free literacy version in the country by the end of the year. And we will be following similar timeline for any new countries that we enter in. So we're looking at next one in Malaysia and a Spanish version in Latin American countries in the next year. And we're looking for additional partnerships in different countries to expand that further and quickly. So that's a huge piece for our team. In terms of further innovation with Kitkit School in the current form, we're also trying more market-based approach for scaling the impact. So combining the software with a tablet and pay-as-you-go payment solution. So making that more market-friendly in the VOP market. So we're testing that trial right now. Within Tanzania, I think the next step for us is innovating on the implementation model within a school system that ensures sustainability and replicability. We've sort of come to see a little hint at that with our project in Dar es Salaam in Tanzania, with a different partner that is supporting So They Can at the moment. And I think through our partnership with So They Can, I think we can certainly expand on that and see what's an actual implementation model that can scale to the 30 plus schools that So They Can support, and hopefully to a larger network of schools as
well. Gosh, it's so inspiring hearing you all speak. And yeah, it sounds like there's so much in the pipeline, which is just really exciting for not just us to hear, but I'm sure the participants that we work with, and I can't wait to see all the smiling photos that we get on such a regular basis as well.
Can I add something that I should have added? One of the things that we haven't yet worked out how to implement, but we will, is as many of you know, we've got a teachers training college in Tanzania, so educating new teachers every year. And to be able to give those teachers different skills that come out of the usual teachers training college to make them more employable, because like anywhere in the world, they have to stand out to be employed. So we're really thinking and talking a lot about how do we engage the teachers we're educating with Kitkit and with digital learning as well, so they can take those skills out. And then that's the opportunity for that to be amplified beyond our schools, but across Tanzania where those teachers are employed.
Can I jump in as well?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just on this sharing the innovations, and that's part of the partnerships as well. Like what you picked up on, Poppy, is sharing our stories, sharing our wins, sharing is probably the missed value of the partnerships that we have. Russell, who works for Solar Buddy, we often joke internally that he has the best job in Solar Buddy because he manages all our partnerships, and he's the first guy that sees all the photos and gets all the data, and it gives us goosebumps every time. And quite often we talk about partnerships of impact in all the stuff we do, but it's very reciprocal as well, where we feel the work that you do, and we value that greatly, and it gives us inspiration to continue in doing our work. So I think that from a partnership point of view is really valuable, and we shouldn't lose sight of that as well. So just wanted to mention that.
Absolutely. And on that note, I'd love to hear what you guys think is like the most important element, and I'm sure there are lots, but what are the most important elements of a good partnership? maybe I'll give you one each and make it really hard.
Well, I can say that for me, one of the exciting things is that the intangibles that collaboration brings. So more than just the tangibles. So, you know, what we're doing, we can bring a better school, we can bring improved education. Enuma can put digital learning into the schools. Solar Buddy can put lights in, but together it's really, it's more than the tangibles, it's more than the light, it's more than the digital learning, it's more than the training programs, but like that dignity that comes from being literate and numerate, the pride that a parent feels from having a child that's succeeding at school and really being educated. And so I know through our work together collectively, what we're creating for the parents and the families and the communities that benefit of having an educated and literate child. You know, studies tell us that helps with peace, democracy, improved health, gender equality, all of those things. So to me, that's the excitement. It's the rapidly increasing the impact that we're making and that intangible.
Absolutely. Gosh. I don't know how you're going to follow up, but Tae, do you want to?
Yeah, that was beautiful. And I think initial evaluation, or yeah, evaluation is such a weird term, but when we first look at our partners, obviously mission alignment is one huge thing, and their capacity and the skill sets that they have is compatible with the areas that we're missing. Obviously, those are first things that kind of we screen for at the beginning. But I think what is more important after that point is the existence of maybe the collaborative spirit. I think partnership is almost a skill. I think some people are able to do partnerships very well, and others are very capable on their own but are not able to partner. So I think it's the intangible, like Terri put it, the intangible ability for partnership. So that I guess is a combination of many things, communication and trust and all the other things. But that is, I think, very important when it comes to working together in the long run.
So true. That relationship and trust building is such a crucial element, and I guess it's all the human side of what we do. We're never going to be able to automate partnerships, that's for sure. Simon, anything to add?
Tough acts to follow, but for me, it's obviously values alignment and purpose alignment and all those things, but I refer to them as hearts and minds. If our hearts and minds are aligned, then we can do great things, and quite often they're not. Some organizations just don't comprehend partnerships. Some feel threatened by them. The notion of you know, there's so many replications of charities around Australia and around the world that are very frustrating to me. So if our hearts and minds are aligned, then we can scale and have bigger impact and do greater things. That's an organizational viewpoint. But a personal viewpoint of mine is also the same as that, but also proving back when I started Solar Buddy, the idea of partnerships and proving that is a success and how we can do that is very satisfying personally to me. Very early with Solar Buddy, I would approach certain charities and NGOs with the idea of donating, you know, thousands of solar lights to them, and generally the question was, what do you want from me? What do you want from us? Why are you doing this? And there was skepticism which I found disheartening, I guess. So we moved through that, and now we have an amazing network of partnerships that we're growing as well. So yeah, both values, but also proving that partnerships do actually work, and that's very satisfying.
Brilliant. Thanks, everyone. And feel free, just we've only got a few minutes left, so if anyone has any final questions, feel free to shoot them through. Just while I check that, what's next for this partnership between the three of you? Obviously, we've got the charging panel, but can we imagine what else could be?
Well, we'll start working on the water soon.
That would be that would be amazing, and training up our teachers on Kitkit, getting the larger student buddies probably applicable in the teachers training college, where there's a lot of larger scale out there. So yeah, it's very early days. I mean, we're literally starting the implementation of the project, but so exciting that we're starting so strongly. We should repeat this in a year's time, and I'm sure we'll have a lot more stories to tell you.
I love that. I think that's a great idea. We'll lock it in our calendars for 12 months time and see what amazing stories we can share. Okay, I don't think we have any more questions, so I might take a moment to wrap up. I want to start by saying a massive thank you to Simon and Tae, and of course Terri, for sharing so much with us today. You've been so open and generous with your time, and it's just, yeah, I get goosebumps thinking about all of the work that you're doing. It's just incredible. So congratulations to you all for all the work that you're doing as well. And I'd also like to thank everyone who's joined us. I know that quite a few people will be watching the recording, so no matter how you're supporting us, it's because of people like you that we can do this type of work. So we're forever grateful for helping us achieve so much. For those of you who are based in Sydney, we still have a few seats left at our Sydney Women's Lunch on the 14th of May. So if you're available, we'd love to see you, or if you want to fly into Sydney for the day, we can kind of do that now, touch wood. But in the meantime, we'd love for you to follow us at So They Can on Facebook and Instagram. Solar Buddy, I think it's at Solar Buddy, is that right? Or Enuma and Kitkit School. They're all great channels to follow, super engaging content, and definitely lots of really heartwarming stuff to kind of fight through some of the less exciting news that's going on around the world. And lastly, as I mentioned earlier, we will be sending out a short survey with any feedback, looking for any feedback. We're always looking to improve even these events. We want to make them as engaging as possible. This is the first time we've done a panel event like this. So yeah, we'd really love your feedback. And as I mentioned, you're our brain's trust. So any ideas that you might have, any ways that you'd like to get involved, please don't hesitate to get in touch. And so with that, once again, asante sana, as they say in Kiswahili, thank you all. And I wish you the best for the rest of your day and hope to see you again soon.
Thanks, Simon. Thanks, Tae.
Thank you so much.